I am going to open this up by saying I officially am once again a big old pudgy lone guy that sits behind a computer all day. And I have gone from pudgy to skinny, pudgy to skinny, pudgy to skinny many, many times in my life. I'm on the pudgy side right now, but I wanted to talk about how we might be able to go toward the skinny side of things and stay there. I know this isn't necessarily a mortgage thing, but it is a success thing. And I want to talk about that. I have my friend Carl White with me here on the Mortgage Loan Officer podcast. We're brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals, and I'm your host, Frank Ray. Hi, Carl. How are you?
I'm doing good, brother. So I feel like we need to have a skinny guy here. You know, I mean, with that
Yeah,
that
you
intro,
are.
it's like,
You're the skinny
okay,
guy.
we have
Hey,
two befores. We need an after now.
Listen, I think you and I could both whip up a couple of before pictures of each one of us where we go,
Yeah.
Okay, you're looking a little bit better than that, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here's what I wanted to bring up, Carl. And the reason I want to do this podcast is that I told you I was, working with AI and talking, give me tips for this, tips for that, and, for being successful. And it's so great to get this information. But one of the things that came up was the fact that to be the recommendation to make sure that you can have a successful career and be a successful person, it definitely hit on the physical. It was physical and mental health, right? Physical and mental health. But it AI, kind of leaned on having a good exercise routine, et cetera. And then if you do the research and you look around and you look at some of the most wildly successful people out there, a lot of them do believe in this. A lot of them do make sure that they stay physically fit because there's benefits to it. Now, I wanted to bring you on, Carl, because you and I have known each other for over 20 years now. And you and I have seen each other at our best moments and at our worst moments when it comes to physical health. And, but I tell you, over the past few years, I've been watching you steadily just transform. Like you really have transformed. And it even gets noticed like amongst, our Breakfast Club members, of course, the MMA and Breakfast Club the other day, somebody pointed it out to you. Carl, you're looking fabulous. They took the time to do that. You have gone on a journey. It's been some time now that you've been doing this. And I just want to feel this out and decide, I just want to ask you some questions. Like when did you decide, Carl, that you were going to make a change? And then, why? When and why? So let's tackle those things real quick.
I can be such a shallow person sometimes. I almost hate showing that side of me. So I'm going to tell you a true story. It really happened when there's a girl involved, right? Of course.
Oh, sure.
Right. So, and I'd like to tell you it was my wife, but it's not. Hang on. I'm not. You can, if the kids are listening with you, you can leave this on. They can hear this. So my first girlfriend was a young lady named Dawn Wells, who most of us would know as Mary Ann.
Sure. Donna Wells. Yeah.
Yeah. On Gilligan's Island, right? Yeah. Dawn Wells. And so I had a chance meeting with her. And we ended up working together. And she came to some of our events and ended up becoming friends with her, right? But anyway, my first picture that I took, and I say she was my first girlfriend. Obviously, I'm saying this tongue in cheek, right?
You're kidding around. She was a lot of young boys' first girlfriend, right? When you're watching Gilligan's Island, yeah. So go ahead.
So when I met her, I was in my 50s, and I think she was in her probably upper 70s at that point, right? But just a real classy lady. And ended up having, me and the lovely Mrs. White ended up having a really cool friendship relationship with her, as it turned out. But anyway, so I met her by chance meeting here in Clearwater Beach at a restaurant, and very nice lady. And I asked her if it'd be okay if Maria and I took a picture with her, and she goes, "Oh, sure." So we take a picture together. And Maria says, "Okay, what he really wants is a picture of you two together. Here, I'll take the picture," right? So Maria's super cool, right? So she takes a picture of us, and I look at that picture, and I went, this is for me, it was a cool moment in my life, right? Because it's just one of those people I've always wanted to meet, right?
Totally.
And dude, I looked terrible. I just looked terrible, and I thought, golly, what a great chance for a picture. And whether it was with her or I've been blessed to meet with some really interesting people. I met with Kevin O'Leary not too long ago, and some of these other people. And it's like I had trouble looking at the picture because I looked so bad. And that was I'd love to tell you it was some inspirational thing, but it was just simply that I looked so bad. And I get it. So those of you, some might be watching this. Most are probably listening to it. Hey, look, I'm no Brad Pitt, and I get it. But Frank, I was a cheeseburger away from 300 pounds.
No
Right?
kidding.
Yeah, I was right there at it. And I thought, when does this stop? When does this craziness stop? Uh, and I found that, like, when I started dropping it, that my energy level, surprise, surprise, drastically increased. And I found I had a little extra skip in my step. And more, all those cliches, come to find out, are true. I had more confidence.
So the reason, when you had a moment in looking at this picture with Miss
Yeah.
Wells, that was your win. It was like something stood out to you at that point where you
Yeah.
were like, I gotta do something.
I look terrible.
And the why, what was the why though? Just because you just did you
I was
is it
I was
like
embarrassed.
kill
I was just
myself, or is it just, I'm just tired of this, or what was it?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. There was just a click of a button, that it was just like, the old proverbial straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like I've had enough, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
thought I have got to do something about this, because I look terrible, and they don't bury fat old guys; they only bury fat young guys. And
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I started thinking, I've got just a most wonderful wife ever,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I've got these wonderful kids.
Right.
In my work, I have people that count on me, right?
Yeah.
I count on you, you count
Right.
on me, right? We're
Right.
wingmen, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I got a lot of people counting on me here. Um, how narcissistic of me not to take that into consideration. And I heard, can't remember who it was. There's some guy, some motivational speaker. He's famous for saying this, that the richest property on earth is the graveyards, because it has all the books that weren't written, all the songs that weren't sang, all the stories that weren't told, all the money making ideas that never happened. And I thought, man, I've got all these great ideas, and I got so much I want to accomplish. And I love helping people, and all the lives of that and as our listeners that you make right in your local area, we help each other. And I thought, man, if I die, I'm not going to be helping my family. I'm not going to be helping my friends. I'm not going to help my brother Frank. So it just became a thing where I don't know. It was a
It
lot.
was a moment that really, it was a defining moment for you. It was kind of a click of a switch. I understand it. It's like when I quit drinking, I was, hungover one morning looking in the mirror, and it was like that moment. I just was like, I'm
Yeah.
done with this. This is no more for me. No more. I'm making a change. And I did. Right. And I made the
It's
change.
funny you say that. I had the pleasure of meeting with another one of my youth heroes. Again, exposing my shallowness here. Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I grew up with Alice Cooper, right?
Sure.
And a very interesting guy, very smart guy. And you talk about alcohol. So Alice Cooper would drink a case and a half of beer a day
Ugh.
for like 30 years,
Holy
right?
mackerel.
And then one day he just stopped.
Hmm.
And so I met with him. I had it on my bucket list to have tea with Alice Cooper, right? I
Yeah.
don't know why, but it was
Weird
just,
thing, but okay.
I want to do it,
Yes.
right? And Maria's the one that actually helped make that happen. So we have a friend of a friend that hooked us up, and I had tea with Alice Cooper, and I asked him about that. I said, like, how was that coming off of that? Because being a food addict, right? Anybody that's 300 pounds is a food addict, right?
Mhm.
And so being a food addict, it was like I was curious about and addictions are addictions, whether it's food, Coke, meth,
booze, whatever. Yeah.
whatever. It's all the same thing. They're all just symptoms of another problem. But anyway, so I asked him, I said, like, did you struggle with that? And he says, no. He said, what he told me was, I woke up one morning and God just cured me of it. And I've never picked up a bottle since. I've never wanted it. I'm cured. Now, that's not your typical story, by the way. But it was the same thing, I honestly think, and Frank, I know we share the same beliefs, or a lot of the same beliefs. I personally think it was divine intervention.
Okay, good.
And the good Lord just, for whatever reason, smiled on me that
Time.
day.
It was time.
Yeah.
He shed some light on you. He gave you some sort of inspiration from the
He tapped me
photo,
on the shoulder.
huh?
He tapped me on the shoulder, and I go, I'm listening now.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Carl. So,
But let me tell you something else though, just real quick.
All right.
So an interesting thing. So about 4 months ago, I went vegan.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
So you don't want me to send you that honey baked ham at Christmas time?
You can. I'll share it with my friends. Right.
Okay.
I got nothing against ham, nothing against beef, right? Nothing against any of that thing.
But a crate of broccoli might be more appropriate at this point.
I feel so much better. So for instance, did you know that tomatoes have so I have a master's degree in chemistry, right? So I've always been in biochemistry and biology. Like I've always been fascinated by this stuff. And so tomatoes have a chemical in it that give a sense of well-being.
Really?
And so, yeah. And so people that take, pills, artificial things for that sense of well-being. And, there's some vitamins you can take that gives you a sense of well-being. And there's some herbs that you can take for a sense of well-being. Well, tomatoes have that same thing. And so every morning I grab a tomato and eat it like an apple.
I love tomatoes.
And dude, I'm telling you, I can tell the difference. Like I can feel it. Like it's
no kidding.
Yeah. So it's not a high, this is not like a morphine or whatever, or insert in thing that makes you high. Or Coke or something like that. But yeah, it brightens. I feel different. It brightens my day, and I feel more energetic. I feel more pleasant. I find I've never been a grouchy person as a general rule. I have my days, I suppose. But I feel less, I don't know,
agitatable.
Not that I'm an agitatable person, but it's like, it's like whatever, and it's not like it's like zoned me out. Like it's picked me up and everything's okay. And I don't know, it just helps me to focus. And it's been a big deal.
Here's what I want to ask. So, okay, you were cheeseburger shy of 300 pounds. You have this moment.
Yeah.
You decide you're going to make a change.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if I have had moments where I've decided, okay, I got to do something, right? Did you, when you started to make your transformation and go down the health path of getting more healthy, I mean, you didn't start jogging 2 miles, right? I mean, you probably couldn't, so
for sure.
And because like one time I had this funny story. My wife was doing some absolutely insane workout regimen with some guys for a while. I forget what they even call it, boot camp thing, or I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's intense. Right. And so she was bugging me to go down and do this and whatever. And I needed it. Right. So I went down and I did this. Dude, I swear to you, brother, after 45 minutes of doing whatever this guy had me doing, I literally almost threw up and was like, this is not, so what I'm asking is what was your process to, like right now you're riding, how many miles on a bike do you ride in a day? Like pretty standard?
Between 20 some mornings and 40 others. So between
20 to 40 miles a day on a bicycle. I can't believe when you're 1 pound shy of, or one burger shy of 300 pounds, you got on a bicycle and rode it 20 miles. So like, what was the process? Like, what did you start doing first? Was it diet? Was it exercise? Was it both? What was the first steps?
So one thing I have learned is it's 80% diet and 20% exercise.
Okay.
So you cannot out exercise
your diet,
right? And so I probably took a little bit of a different twist. So I'm real big into mentorship. right? So Frank, you and I, we do that for a living, but we also, pay for mentors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I did was I flew out and met with Dr. Oz, from the TV show.
Did you?
So I found you can meet with you write a check, you can meet with anybody,
Yeah.
like literally, right? And so I wrote a check and I flew out and met with Dr. Oz. And I just wanted him to help me with, I thought he's just like a really super cool person. And, he's famous for health. And I thought, gosh,
Why
maybe,
not?
why
Yeah.
not? So that was a good place to start. So I met with him and he helped me with just kind of the mental stuff. And then it's like, all right, well, I desperately need to change my diet. So there's another guy who's kind of famous. His name is Drew Canoli. And he's into like the juicing and things like that, and kind of a famous guy in the health industry. And so I flew him out to my house, and for 2 days we went to the grocery store. He taught me what to buy and how to cook it, and so that's what we did. And so I knew what to start looking for in the grocery store.
Okay.
And
Can I back you up to Dr. Oz?
yeah,
You said when you met with Dr. Oz, it was more of a mental sort of thing.
yeah,
Anything you
yeah,
can share with us there
sure,
briefly
yeah.
that was helpful?
Here's the bottom line on what he taught me. What he taught me was, we get these things and we go, hey, I'm going to my bike ride in the morning. I don't decide in the morning if I'm going on my bike ride. I'm going. I already
Mm,
decided.
mm,
And so what he taught me was go ahead and decide, because once you decide, now there's no choice to be made.
mm.
Right. So I decided I'm going to go vegetarian. So I don't wake up in the morning, gee, do I get that ham? No, I've already decided it. It's already been decided. It's already done. Does that make sense? It sounds like a
It
simple
does.
thing, but
No,
it's a
yeah.
big thing. And so like the other morning, it started to rain on my ride. Not hard, but it was a little, not that it's cold here in Florida, but it's a little chilly as we're
Mhm.
recording this. It's entering into the winter time, so it was a little chilly. Started to rain a little bit. I'm only 10 miles in, and the thought crosses my mind, gee, maybe I'll just turn around a little early today. And I went, nope, I already decided. Can't do that. I already decided. And so that just might sound like a simple thing, but I think what it is that when you make decisions, you're going to do something, and not just with help, but like in our mortgage business,
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm gonna have one meeting per day with somebody that can refer me business.
Mm,
So I'm not deciding if I'm going to do it. That's already been decided.
mm.
I'm just simply going to do it now. And I know that might sound like a simple thing, but I'm telling you, that was a big deal for me. Is because I felt like I was making 100 different decisions every day. And now I made the decision. That's not a decision anymore. Like the option of not doing it, it's and I know it's kind of, well, it's not an option. It really isn't, because I already decided.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like you have to really want to make that decision in order
Yeah.
for that to stick, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
and so anyways, yeah, I was just curious
Yeah.
where he was. Okay, so you meet with the other gentleman, he shows you what to buy, how to cook it, that kind of a thing. When was this? What year was this?
This was probably, I don't know, 4 years ago, something like that.
Okay,
So
that's right.
so it
Okay.
hasn't been a fast thing per se.
No.
I'm down about 95 pounds so far.
Okay.
And as you can, those are watching this, I've probably got about another 25 to go, somewhere in that range. Is where I'm going for. Is not what I'm going for. Is what I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
Is about another 25, something like that. And but man, I feel great and I feel energetic. So I started the bike riding. So I started off by walking.
Okay, that's where I was going right now. I'm glad you brought this up. I was going to say, okay, we got the diet thing going. It's
Yeah.
80% diet. You're working that, right? But then you needed to introduce some exercise. So
Yeah.
walk us through that process.
So I just started walking, and about the same time, I became a huge fan of podcast. And so I thought, wow, I'll walk and learn. Right. And so some of my podcasts are inspirational, some of them are spiritual, and some of them are industry related, where I learn, I hone my craft while I'm walking. And I found that to be really, really, really enjoyable. I also found, the best time to do it is like super early in the morning, so that it's done. Like, just, so it's done. And so that all during the day, I get the benefit of have that elevated heart rate for that period of time, that it'll carry on through the day. I found, for me, if I go for a walk in the evening, it keeps me up at night.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get up super, super early in the morning, and so I started walking, and I did that for a while.
Well, like, how
And
far did you, like, the first time you did it? Did you go around the block, or did you try to do a
that's about
mile?
right. That's about what I could do.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
sad but true. That's about what I could do.
Yeah.
And I had worked up to about, and I had some days I did like much longer, but as a typical thing, it was 4 miles every morning.
Okay.
And so the 4 miles would take me about. I'm not speed walking.
Mhm.
I couldn't, because my knees wouldn't take it, because I'm
Mhm.
300 pounds.
Mhm.
And so I'd walk. It'd take me about an hour and, I don't know, 15 minutes, something like that.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So it was just a nice,
Yeah.
pleasant way to spend the morning. And then when COVID hit, I was out doing my walk, and I get out to the main road, and I go, there is zero cars on here, like none. Like, it was zero cars. And I thought, man, I could ride my bicycle down this road that normally has hundreds of thousands of cars
Yeah.
literally on any given day. And I thought, well, that's an interesting idea. So I went down to the local bike store, and the lovely Mrs. White went with me, and we picked up a little bicycle, and I fell in love with the road. And so I've been.
What kind of bike is it?
So it's well, actually, I ended up, I got like about 7 different ones now.
Okay.
And I don't do anything a little bit, right? So
Of course not.
yeah. So
You're like me, down the
yeah,
wormhole.
yeah. But
Mhm.
so I started off with a road bike, and
And when you say road bike, that's like a
skinny tire.
the skinny tire thing, and
Yeah,
what the guys would race on, basically, kind of a
like
thing.
the Tour de France,
Mhm.
type thing. I'm not going nowhere near the speed, of course, those guys,
Right.
but I've got the same kind of bike. But the problem with that is, number one, I was getting flat tires, because I'm riding down the road.
Mhm.
And number two, after a short period of time, if I want to ride, like, I like riding for about 2 hours in the morning. If I'm riding for 2 hours on a skinny tire bike, and I'm going pretty far, I can be a pretty good ways from the house. And if I have a flat tire and for some reason can't fix it, Maria's got to drive 20 miles to come get me.
Yeah.
And so I thought, all right, well, so I like working at it. So I want to go fast on the road bike. And I thought, well, if I get a wider tire and get a bicycle that's less efficient, I have to work harder, and I don't go as far, because I don't care how far I go. It's the time that I'm measuring.
Right.
And so now I ride what looks like a beach bicycle,
Okay.
with pretty wide tires, because it's not the easiest thing.
Yeah. More effort to move it.
Yeah, it's more effort to move, which is what I'm looking for. And it's pretty thick tires on the thing, so I don't get flats. I've gotten like 3 all of last year.
Yeah.
2 of them was like a mile from the house. I just walked it home.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so it's nothing. Yeah, it's not a fancy bike. It's just a bike. And dude, I have this most beautiful place that I ride. So it's about a mile from my house. I have to go through a little neighborhood to get to it, but the neighborhood, the speed limit is 25, so it's a super small, just like a little neighborhood I'm riding through. And then I get on a trail here. It's called the Pinellas Trail, and it used to be a railroad track, one of those rails and trails things. And if I make a left, I head south about 30 miles on it. And if I make a right, I'm heading north, and I think it goes, gosh, I think it's like 80, 90 miles
on a bike trail
north one way.
Yeah.
Right. So on my birthday every year, I got this new thing that I'm doing on my birthday every year. I ride 100 miles. Now, to some people that might not be a lot,
Right.
but
But to many, it is.
and I'm 64 years old now.
Yeah.
And so 100 miles, previously on a beach bike, previously at 300 pounds. It's something I look forward to every year. And actually this last year, I did it twice. I did it once. It was 2 days before my birthday. I thought, well, I'll go on a little bit longer ride to get ready for it. And
Did it.
next time I did it. It's like, well, I think I was at like 70 miles. I went, well, crap, I only got 30 more to go. I'll just go ahead and knock it out
Just
today.
keep on going.
Yeah, I'll knock it out today, and I'll save the pictures and post it on my birthday, right? And I thought, well, wait a minute, I can't do that, because then I'm saying, hey, I did on my birthday, and I'm kind of a purist, and I'll say I did on my birthday, but I really did it 2 days before. And I'm a karma guy, so if I say something, it's got to be real, right?
Right.
So I thought, well, crap. I told Maria, I said, Maria, I got to go again,
I
because
gotta do it again.
I can't post, right? So anyway.
Well, okay. So let's kind of we'll try and bring this home. I love it so far. I love the journey. I love the story. It's good to hear, because you're laying out that, if you choose to make that decision and decide that this is what you're going to do, you can gradually work your way through this. Of course, diet completely the most
I think
important
it's an
thing.
event, though, Frank.
It
I don't
is,
think
huh?
it's an event. Yeah, I think it's like quitting drinking. It's not a process. It's an event.
Well,
Like you,
the decision was an event, right? For me, if that's what you're saying, and then of course what follows is a process. Is that
for
what
sure,
you're
for
saying?
sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
and what I was curious to hear too was just what that was, and I like the way you started with some eating and changing those
But
habits. And
the other thing, Frank, is like
mm,
I thought about this the other day. So I've got a motorcycle like you do, right? And if I put regular gas in my Harley, dude, it runs like crap. Like
mm,
it spits and sputters and backfires. Like it really runs bad. And so I have to run premium in it. And it runs so much better on premium. And I was sitting at the gas station putting gas in my bike one day, and I went, well, if this machine needs extra good fuel, and I'm looking at my body, well, this machine does too.
mm-hmm.
And if I'm willing to spend a couple extra dollars or cents or whatever it is,
Yeah,
putting premium fuel in my bike because it runs so much better with it, so will my machine will
right,
run better if I put
right,
good fuel into it. So
right.
I tell you, man, I think more clearly.
That's I was just going to
Dude,
get what's the benefits, and so let's
I
go through
need
that.
I need
What's the
so much
benefit so
less.
far? Yeah.
So Bennett, I think more clearly, my mood is definitely elevated. I need way less sleep. So I go to bed when I'm tired, and I wake up when I'm done. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to bed at any per time, and I never set an alarm clock. And if I'm at an event and I'm speaking or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
I'll set an alarm clock, make sure I don't oversleep. And but I always wake up before my alarm clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so I probably average these days 5 hours, maybe.
Yeah. 5, 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go to bed around 10 or so. Is like I'll go to bed around 9 and then fall asleep around 10, something like that. And gosh, usually 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
3:30, something like that. I wake up, I feel great.
Yeah.
I go for my ride, I come back, take my shower, and man, it's just wonderful. And my wonderful bride, she's always looked like Miss July.
I know. It's fabulous.
I want to, whatever, smack her around a little bit. Which, by the way, when this Drew Cannoli guy came down to visit my house, he was proving to me.
It's interesting. His last name's Cannoli.
Cannoli, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look him up on the web. He helps a lot of people with their health. So super good guy. So anyway, he was going to prove to me, Carl, it's 100% what you eat, right? And so you don't have a thyroid problem. You just eat too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he gave me this DNA test that would test how well your body processes food. In other words,
Really?
apparently some bodies extract more calories per carrot stick than others.
Okay.
Right? Whatever. So I take this DNA test, dude. This is a 100% true story. The numbers are real. I'm in the upper one percentile. In other words, my body extracts more calories from a stick of celery. Out of 100 people, I'm number one.
Wow.
So my body was made to be a farmer and to go through long periods of drought and famine, I guess, and to be able to eat very little food and just squeeze every single ounce of energy out of that apple or beef or whatever it is. Well, it was designed for, mine was designed for plant. And so I looked at that and I went, I'll be darned. I've always kind of thought that, but I don't want to blame it on that. He said, well, Carl, that just means it's going to be a little bit harder. He said, but I want you to think of this. Some people were born to run fast. Hey, they run faster. If you want to beat them, you got to practice more. Right? Some people are born smarter. Hey, the good news, they don't have to study as much. Maybe you don't have to study as much. On this, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. And that's just how it is. And I thought, well, okay, that's it. That doesn't make it okay for me not to do it any more than if I'm not as smart, I have to study more. Okay, you got to study more. If I want to learn my scripting for my mortgage, all right, I'm going to have to study it a little bit more or whatever that thing is, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, look, life's not fair. We're on this thing today. Everything has to be equal and even. And in a lot of places, that's probably a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like people are different and people are gifted in different areas. And that's okay. But it doesn't mean that if I'm only 5'10", I can still compete with you on basketball. I'm just going to have to try harder.
Yeah.
Right. It's things aren't fair. Right. It's just not, God didn't make me look like Brad Pitt. Right. But I still landed the lovely Mrs. White.
There you go.
I just had to work harder. Right. I just had to work harder. So,
yeah.
So I think, you look at what you want and you don't do the best you can. You do whatever it takes. And so anyway, so that's, I think like what, and for those of you that are, maybe weight isn't the issue. Maybe it's just a lack of exercise, getting getting the dopamine built up into your system, just, from getting out there and exercising and working out in the morning or going for a walk. And dude, going for a walk and listen to something positive on the podcast. Like I don't listen to news. I listen to like positive things, maybe some might be spiritual, some might be just inspirational stories. Right. And so I listen to all these positive things and I get all these great thoughts going through my head. And it's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to what the next 25 is going to be. And I'm committed that by April 1st is my date that I'm going to be there. Right now I'm a little bit less than about, I don't know, a month ago or so, I hit my wedding day weight.
No kidding.
Which is good news and bad news. The good news is I hit my wedding date weight. The bad news is I needed to lose about 30 pounds when I got married.
Yeah, back then. Yeah, right. Right. So okay, let's do this, Carl. I'm just curious. 80% diet. The gentleman took you out, showed you what to buy, how to cook it. What were the main things that you needed to drop? Just give me like a couple of main things. You said no more of this, no more of that. What was it?
We already know what those things are.
Typical things. Sugar.
Yeah. Sugar, pasta. I mean, pretty much if it doesn't grow out of the ground, I don't eat it.
Okay. So,
and when you do that, sometimes like here, I'll give you one, like, asparagus. Sometimes you're supposed to eat it raw and sometimes you're supposed to steam it. And because, or spinach is the same way. That when you eat it raw, it's good for you in one way, but then when you steam it, it's good for you in another. Because like there's some chemicals in spinach that when you eat it raw, it actually inhibits some of the benefits of spinach that you only get when you kill that thing that inhibits, and the heat on the steam does that. And then it releases this other set of vitamins that don't need to be activated by the steam, but you have to get rid of that other inhibitor that was part of the plant that is killed off by the steam. And so sometimes I eat it steamed, sometimes I eat it raw, and I do that with all my foods. I do a lot of beets. My blood pressure's drastically decreased. It's pretty much just, and you know what? I don't miss the cheeseburger, like, at all, like zero, because I don't miss how it made me feel. Like, it used to be, I'd eat a meal and it's like, oh, I need to go sit on the couch and, expend all this energy in digesting, and come to find out that Brussels sprouts digest pretty darn easy. And I don't have to go, dude. This was the first Thanksgiving, last couple, I guess. It's so nice that on Thanksgiving, I'm not looking for the couch. Like, after the meal, I feel like, hey, you guys want to go for a walk? Or I want to go out fishing in the lake? Or, hey, let's go play some. We got a badminton set up here on the set. You want to go play badminton? And it was nice not to feel like I needed to go crawl in my cave and hibernate for the next 8 hours. Getting off that third piece of apple pie.
Well, Carl, I think we've kind of gotten out of you what I was looking to get out of you, and I just want to tell you, Carl, you're a really inspirational person, and I know you're very humble, and but you inspire a lot of us in so many different ways, and now we can throw health on top of that. I mean, you've always been a great inspiration to us as far as the business is concerned, and being successful in business, and how to properly handle things, even our finances and that type of stuff. You've just been really, really inspirational. You're quite a blessing to us all. But I know that whether you realize it or not, the health side of things that you've been going through is also is also inspirational to us. And so just keep trucking, my brother. You're just an awesome person, and you always amaze me. And the health thing, over the past 2 years, we've been together now I've been, part of Breakfast Club and part of Animals. Even in those 2 years, I've just been watching you going, gosh darn that guy.
I'm just trying to catch
that guy is just
dude,
on.
Dude, you look amazing. Really, you look amazing. And I, it just, and I think the other thing it helps us is frankly, is to make a public declaration, like we're doing right here, for my brother Frank now to hold me accountable. And come April, I've got to be at my number, or I feel like I let my brother Frank down, and I'm not going to let my brother Frank down. So I think it's important to make public declarations too. And I think same thing in our business, is to make a public declaration that, hey, I'm going to do my daily success plan today. No, I'm going to do my daily success plan, period. Like, not just today, but I'm going to do it because I made my decision, and I'm going to do it today and tomorrow and the next day and next month, because I know when I do that, I'll get all these wonderful things. And it's not just so I can go buy a new, whatever, Ferrari or Rolex or whatever that thing is.
No.
So that we can set our family up like how we want to set our family up, and that we can help other people out with do things, to help other people. So this is not something. I was talking to a guy this morning. He says, well, I'm kind of okay. I'm closing my, whatever it was, like 3 or 4 loans a month, and I'm okay with that. I said, well, dude, what about all those people that you could help if we tripled that, or when we tripled that? What about those people? What about, and some of them, it's like, well, they can go do it themselves. Not the ones that's in a wheelchair that's messed up, and I hope it's okay to say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what about the people that were born with an IQ of 50? What about those people? Right? Somebody's got to help those people out, or somebody's been going through, I've been through hard times, Frank. I don't know if you can relate, but I've totally, I've made bad decisions and gone through hard times, and boy, I'm grateful people reached out and helped me out. And what about those people? So this is not just about, well, I'm good enough. This is bigger than just you. This is bigger than just me. This is I don't know. Anyway, I'll get a whole nother topic there. So
Yeah.
anyway,
All right,
I
man.
appreciate you, Brain. I appreciate
Hey,
you,
man,
Brain.
I appreciate you too, Carl. Thanks so much. I hope I can guarantee you, anyone who's watching this on YouTube or listening on any of the other podcast outlets really got a lot out of this and appreciates it. It's kind of refreshing and nice to talk about something that is completely related to having good discipline, right? Just like the DSP, just like in our business, we need good discipline. And it's neat to see it in your life. It's neat to see these disciplines and these commitments applied to something outside of, right, just I need another loan, but applied to your health and your physical and mental health, that kind of a thing. So really neat, man. So I appreciate you doing this. I was looking forward to this one, and I'm sure people are getting something out of this. I'm sure they are. So
Well, brother, you're a great interviewer, just FYI. So I really appreciate you, man. I love listening to your episodes. So anyway, we sit here and have a love fest back and
we
forth.
could, yeah. But
yeah.
we'll get out of here and let people get back to work or whatever it is they're doing, or talk to their spouse about their diet, whatever you want to do.
or they, I bet a fair amount of people, because they tell me they listen to these podcasts when they're out on their morning walk. So
probably true. Yeah.
It was an honor to be on your morning walk with you.
It was. Yeah. Good enough. All right, sir. We'll let you go. All right. For the rest of you, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to come back again and again to the Mortgage Loan Officer Podcast and all the other podcasts that we have at the Loan Officer Podcast Network at Mortgage Marketing Animals. There's so many good podcasts that we have available for you. And I would invite you to come and join us every Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern time at the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. It's an absolute blast. It's so good. It's just one of those good things to do, and to become disciplined to show up every day would be a good thing as well. Trust me on that. You'll get a lot out of it. Just go to loanofficerbreakfastclub.com. That's loanofficerbreakfastclub.com to register for free. It's absolutely free, 30 minutes, brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. With that, we'll get on out of here. Thanks, Carl.
I appreciate you, brother. Hey, and on Breakfast Club, man,
Yep.
you are changing lives on that thing, man. You're literally changing lives. That's a good thing. So see you on the Breakfast Club.
All right. I'll see you there as well. Thanks for those words. And it's a great thing for all of us. Yeah, it is. So, all right, you guys have a good one. We'll catch you next time in the Mortgage Loan Officer Podcast, brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.